What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Manuel Font Show. I am Manuel Fonts. It is episode 181. And yeah, it's Monday. It is Monday. Um, I just want to get right out, just jump right out from the beginning here. I've gotten rid of quite a bit of the social media stuff, and I've started experimenting with TikTok. Here's what I've learned from TikTok is nothing more than doom scrolling until your eyes bleed. I mean, it does offer some interesting things, and I kind of used it a little bit in the last episode, talking about social media in general, being all the rage with all the people that have contributed with their hot takes and whatever. But what I've noticed with TikTok, and I call it TikTok because it's kind of a silly app. Let me kind of explain this. What it is just you post photographs, kind of like Instagram a little bit, some video form, up to about 10 minutes, I think, and it's got the same, it's got the same feeling that you would have with Instagram or X or even Facebook with like the reels, because you're just scrolling along, scrolling. One thing that they do have that separates it from everybody else a little bit is the live thing, because a lot of these people I've noticed have gone have gone live, and they have like open debates and stuff, and they'll talk back and forth and share ideas. That part I think is kind of cool. The one part that the one aspect of it that just gets me a little bit is the is kind of what I covered in the last episode. Everybody just trying to one up everybody without any sort of say like fact check of sorts. They kind of like say it and that's it. And then you just supposed to take it at face value. You can kind of comment on it, but it doesn't really matter. It's got the interface is like no different than any others. I mean, it's almost like they're ripping each other off. It's kind of like even with Snapchat a little bit has that flavor to it. Is this something that like what is it with social media that I mean outside of connections, I guess making friends with somebody on the east coast of your country or across on the other side of the globe. I mean, outside of shit like that, what's the point of social media? Like, what is the fucking? I mean, I don't. I just. I never am able to build it and grow it because I don't. Maybe it's a patience thing because I just don't give a shit about it. I don't give two fucks about it. Like within 2 days, I started getting these bots like trying to sell you stuff, and then if you look at one debate, political debate, you get like 5,000 debate slides as you're scrolling through. And then the explore panel, where I'm assuming you can explore the app, it just shows a bunch of um kind of I guess called prostitutes, hookers. I don't know how do you want to call it. Like like that's the one thing I would look at like that. Like I go straight to that. I don't know. If you let me ask you this, guys. Comment below if you um use the app, if you find it fairly beneficial. I'm sure there's some money making ability there. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm not supposed to see it. I don't know. Um let's sort of get into this. Let's get into this day here. So the Associated Press, $7,000 worth of Labubu dolls were stolen from a store in Los Angeles. And if you don't know what a Labubu doll is, it is a creepy, weird doll that for some reason is a highly collectible figure. They smile and there's like jagged teeth. They got ears and little fuzzies. They just look like very violent dolls. But okay, outside of that, I mean, I don't see the appeal. I don't see why it's famous. I don't get it. But there were three uh, thieves with masks that felt like it was because they stole $7,000 worth of these things. The theft was Wednesday morning. Suspects used a stolen Toyota Tacoma, which was later recovered. Surveillance footage shows the individuals in hoodies and face coverings breaking in and stealing it. They're on camera too, which is nuts. The store was trashed during the incident. One stop sales expressed shock and asked the public for help. In identifying the culprits, the dolls were created in Hong Kong by artist Ka Sing Lung. He's got a very demented mind. Um, they become highly collectible over the past decade due to their unique toothy monstery design. Yeah, that grin. Like I said, if you guys don't know what it is, look this up. I'm gonna link these articles. Just just look at it. It's an odd doll. It's a doll I don't understand how it's becoming a tradable commodity. And I am a toy collector, and I still don't fucking see the appeal to this thing. But that is that's hopefully they get caught, and hopefully they recover these dolls, these apparent dolls. Um, and this is also from the AP, and this is Arkansas police release a sketch drawing in search of a killer at Devil's Den State Park. Clinton David Brink, age 43, and Kristen Amanda Brink, 41, were found dead on the trail in Devil's Den State Park. Um, ah, their daughters, ages 7 and 9, survived, and they're unharmed. They released a sketch. The police department released a sketch of this dude. Hopefully, somebody recognizes him. The man wore a baseball cap. He's considered a person of interest. Police believe the suspect may have been injured during the attack. Of course, no motive, no methods disclosed. Authorities have not revealed the hows and the whys of the whole thing. I don't expect them to anyway. I mean, this thing is an ongoing investigation. If you tell the public, you're fucked. Police are asking visitors who were at the park on Saturday to check their photos and videos for clues. Numerous calls have come in, but few details have been released. It's kind of an interesting. I mean, the sketches. I'll post the sketch as well. This. Well, this looks really basic. This could be anybody. Shit. This could totally be anybody. So on to the next one. Sony. This is from Polygon. Sony has filed a lawsuit against the Tencent company on July 25th, aiming to block the release of Light of Moratorium, game developed by Tencent's Polaris Quest studio. Sony is seeking $150,000 in statutory damages for each alleged infringement of work on from its Horizon series. Um, Sony claims that this game is a clone of Horizon Zero Dawn, replicating signature elements like cybernetic animals and open world mechanics. The lawsuit highlights visual and thematic similarities, including machine designs, character costumes, and marketing materials. In 2024, Tencent's Aurora Studios reportedly pitched a mobile Horizon spinoff to Sony, which they then declined. Pitch included Eastern aesthetics, multiplayer features, and mock ups like Alloy on the Great Wall of China. Of course, the protagonist of this game is a raven haired woman with a shorter haircut, but shares the costume traits with Alloy, such as brown leather and a helmet that resembles Alloy's look. Sony is arguing here, guys, that Tencent is using this resemblance in its promotional content, which it wants destroyed. And there's something I want to do here because this stuff seems to be ongoing in the gaming industry. And here's how IP disputes in the gaming industry and lawsuits involving Tencent, including its recent case. Um, so in terms of IP disputes and how it goes, there's the copyrights, the trademarks, and the patents that usually come up in these lawsuits. There's also the challenges that ensue with these things where they're saying it's a clone. You have to kind of prove that. Then you have to figure out the jurisdictional complexities of it and how you're going to enforce this type of IP dispute. And entities that sue for IP violations without producing games tend to also be thrown in there as well. Here's a list of cases that have come up. So this is Capcom versus Data East, Street Fighter versus Fighters History games. That issue was mechanics and similarity of fighting styles. Apple uh, and Epic Games, antitrust and payment routing. So that had a lot to do with stealing payment systems. Silicon Knights versus Epic Games as the Unreal Engine licensing. Uh, they have a contract breach thing there. Um, and obviously Data East won the Street Fighter deal. Mixed ruling on the Apple fees thing. Epic did win the contract breach of the Unreal Engine. Sony versus Bot M8 LLC. Online play and memory faults. Patent infringement essentially, and Sony took about half of that case in the win column. And of course, Sony versus Infernal Tech, Lighthouse Shadow Rendering, software patents, and it's an ongoing case, by the way. And of course, there's recent cases. The recent case with Sony and Tencent that we're kind of discussing here. Here's my thing. There's so many things that have been done 10 times over, whether it be video games, movies, comic books, writings, things like that. It's very hard to win these cases because of the fact that everything's been done so many fucking times over. It really, unless it's like 100% no dispute across the board, it is a clone, it is a copy. We're all in the agreement. Unless it's something like that, it doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. You're not gonna win most of these cases. But here's some more of Tencent's lawsuits, which really kind of begs the question of is Tencent stealing the framework of these games? Is that how this is going on? Because in the excuse me, it's a Monday. Because in the U.S. District Court of Texas, Tencent versus Unblock Tech, they they are suing Tencent sued for unauthorized distribution. They won $85 million. And of course, ByteDance, the owner of the Chinese version of TikTok, um, that is a ongoing case involving uh, copyright, what have you. And of course, the U.S. platforms versus Tencent is unauthorized streaming of the content Tencent won those damages as well. Um, the the implications of this stuff is pretty good, pretty bad, pretty good or pretty bad. I don't know, depending on how you look at it. Because I mean, it it proves the dominance of Chinese tech with some of these wins in terms of IP enforcement on a global scale. I don't know if that's good or bad. They set precedents in the process. They set precedent um, with copyrights and whatnot. So I mean, let me know what you guys think about how these things go. The video game thievery, if you will. I'm really curious at what you guys think about that type of stuff. The next one is from the Guardian, and it's the New York shooting. Gunman kills 4 people in a Manhattan skyscraper. Now I know, guys. It's August 11th at the time of this recording. Some of these stories I'm finding interesting are roughly a week or 2 ago, and I mean, I don't care. I don't care. So this is the one where the guy, for those of you that know, which is probably everybody, this is the one where the guy killed 4 people, wounded another in a skyscraper that housed the NFL headquarters and other financial firms. It's Shane Tamuros, 27, from Las Vegas. He died by suicide after the attack occurred. Among the deceased was um, Didaruri Islam, an off-duty police officer working as a security guard, described as a true blue hero. The other victims include 2 men and a woman. One additional man remains in critical condition. Tamura arrived in a black BMW, entered the lobby, began shooting, and it was during rush hour. He took an elevator to the 33rd floor, where he killed somebody else and then shot himself in the stairwell. Um, Guy with mental illness, etc. You guys, sad. It's an extremely sad case. There we go. This is from the Independent. Now, this is one that I think is interesting, worth somewhat of a read. All right. This is a guy named Ronald Schmidt, 76 years old. He is charged with first-degree murder for killing his daughter-in-law, Christine Moyer, 45 years old. The shooting occurred in the parking lot of the Marriott Hotel in Schaumburg, Illinois. Um, so Schmidt and Moyer were attending the family wedding when he followed her outside and shot her in the head. Prosecutors say the act was premeditated, and Schmidt admitted to planning the attack. Schmidt was reportedly upset over divorce paperwork that she filed against his son. He learned of the divorce plans weeks before the wedding, according to police. Schmidt was subdued by a guest and handed over to the police. He has an expired FOID card, which is required to legally possess a firearm. A judge ordered him to remain in jail until his next hearing on August 22nd. And of course, this is the only thing that I will say is someone is not going to see their kids grow up. And this is a guy that for some reason felt that she shouldn't live anymore simply because she didn't want to be around his son and divorced him. And he took it to another level. And the children won't be around her anymore. It's very sad. It's very sad. And of course, on the USA Today, so let me kind of dive in. Let me break. How do I want to say this? Blah. Let me give you my best impression of what this is. So Donald Trump has been talking about heading off to Alaska to see Putin. He wants Zelensky to be there. There's been some back and forth on when and where, when it is going to happen, how it's going to happen, et cetera, et cetera. And in the preliminary stages of this, they have floated the idea of swapping territories. Zelensky has already said he's not ceding any territory to Russia. He's not swapping any territory to Russia. His foreign policy is Russia needs to leave, and we need to rebuild. It's not going to get the war done, though. But I've said this many times. The war will only be finished when there's an actual threat to Putin, which means something along the lines of escalation. You're going to have to fire a missile or two at him. You're going to have to engage in massive ground war to push him back. There's no other reason for him to do anything. So you're going to have to get into that. You're going to have to force it. I mean, these talks, they're great, but it's not going to get the job done. But again, that's just my opinion. If you think diplomacy works, let me know down below. And that, guys, is episode 181. Thank you all for listening. Appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to it. I will see you later. Bye-bye now.